News Talk K20 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset. 800-288-WBAP is our number. That's 800-288-9227. Okay, so I keep seeing stuff here and there that is popping up on my little radar. And I'll just retweet this again right now. I'll just retweet it now. But Dallas Snow, my goodness, the Euro, again, I just can't believe my eyes, run after run, says this guy. I don't know if he's serious or if he's joking, but he's got a lot of good credentials on there from local and national television as a meteorologist. So I don't know, y'all. Maybe we are. Here we go. Here's another one. Okay, here we go. This is same guy. This is Colin Myers. I think is he the current one for CBS 11? I don't know. Anyways, he says through midnight Friday only, up to a foot of snow. Maybe it's going to happen. I don't know. If it does, I know I'll be shut down. And I mean, I'll still be doing a show. If I have to do it from my house or if I make it downtown, I don't know. We'll see how that all works out. If that happens, so it could. I mocked it a little earlier because that's not what we have in the forecast right now, but who knows, right? All right. Now, the time to attack Iran is now. And I'm not saying that as some warhawk dude, but what's going on is a couple of things. As I mentioned in the last segment, all of Iran's proxies, except for the Houthis, have been tremendously weakened. Hamas and Hezbollah in particular, and then Bashar al-Assad from Syria has been deposed. And so there's no, as of right now, Iran does not have what it used to have, which was a safe passage from Iran into Lebanon to arm and give all sorts of materials to Hezbollah to kill the folks in Israel. And so the land route that they had that was so precious to bring in weapons and all sorts of stuff has been, for now, severed. They are alone. They are extremely vulnerable. Second of all, within 6 months, as soon as 6 months, they could be able to deliver a nuclear warhead on a missile. Within a week, they can have enough to make. They already have enough to make 4 nuclear bombs. So, and they want this. This is what they're going to do. And the first thing they're going to do is blow Israel to smithereens. And so you have a bunch of stars aligning, and the stars are aligning perfectly for Donald J. Trump to be the one who has the cojones to take out Iran's nuclear program once and for all. And that sounds scary, and it sounds like the wrong thing to do, but it's going to be, the choice is going to be made for all of us if we do nothing. And they will have a nuclear weapon. And once they have that, the entire game is over. The entire Middle East is now held hostage by the Iranian terrorists, the regime. And so that cannot happen. It is not an option. They cannot be a nuclear country. Gosh, even little old Joe Biden had a plan to strike if it came to that. And so you have, number one, an acceleration of Iran's nuclear program, according to Axios, and they report today, a weakening of Iran and all of its proxies. I said its air defenses are gone. They can't even defend their skies. Iran can't. Not that their air defenses were any good either, but they have no air defenses right now. Their proxies have been significantly weakened. This improves the odds, as Axios says today, of a successful strike and a decreased risk of Iranian retaliation and regional escalation. That's the other thing, too. They can't strike from Iran. They can't strike from their proxies, save the Houthis, but they're going to be wiped out. That whole joke, how they've strangleholded and kept the Red Sea locked up and the Suez Canal shut down from world shipping, including U.S. shipping interests, because they've been attacking at Liberty a lot in the Red Sea. The Houthis have out of Yemen. And so that they'll be dealt with instantaneously with the Trump administration, unlike Joe Biden, who literally almost ignored them and let the Navy be. The U.S. Navy is right now at its highest level of battle since World War II, according to the Navy's commander that's in charge of that part of the world. So Joe Biden has let that happen. Trump won't. Other than the Houthis, they are weak. They have no strong proxies anymore as of right now, Iran. So this is the time to do it. Number two, they want this, especially with being extra weak, and this gives them extra incentivization to finish it and get it done now. That will get them as stronger than they've ever been. And so we need to strike. And I want that to happen. And Trump is the type of person that would light up a Qasem Soleimani, the former head of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. And in this time, this would be taking out the nuclear program. So here's my question for you. Should we strike Iran's nuclear sites before they get a bomb? Should we wait until, instead, maybe if you want to wait until they almost have it or they have it and then strike them? How would you like us to handle this? How would you like us to do it? Would you like us to strike and take out Iran's nuclear program before they actually have a bomb? Or do you want to stay out of it? What are your thoughts on that? 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. The nuclear facilities are as follows. There's a nuclear technology center on the outskirts of Iran's second biggest city, Isfahan. There also is another facility in the town. So there's two, which is south of Tehran. And then there is, I think there's one more facility. But the point is, I would want us to work with Israel and be kind of a joint tag team, and we would use our bombers. They're talking about in this, but I think we should. I think we need to take them out. And it's not... This isn't the CIA and George W. Bush telling us we have to go in and attack Saddam Hussein and take out his administration because they've got weapons of mass destruction. This is a absolute world. The world knows this fact. They have a nuclear program. They're about to have nuclear bombs. So this is the time to do it. Not when they regain their air defenses. Not when they regain their strongholds in their proxy countries. The time is now. And they will have, if they want, a nuclear weapon in as little as 6 months. So this is it. The U.S. made BLU-109 bunker buster bombs is what they say that the Israelis and the U.S. can work together to do this. And I think we should. Do it now, and Trump's not afraid. And this will be his Qasem Soleimani on steroids, taking out the nuclear program. The threat of that is the number one threat to humanity in the Middle East, I would say. It really is. 800-288-WBAP is our number. That's 800-288-9227. Coming up next, 1 killed, 4 injured in a road rage crash in the Metroplex. And it is what grabbed me so much in this whole story that made me want to talk about it so much is how quickly this was. Just as one person loses their cool and decides to do a typical act of road rage, which I'll describe, I'll tell you what the act was coming up next, but a typical, simple, common thing that people do in road rage, okay, led to the death of 1 and the injury of 4. I'm going to say it again, a simple road rage thing that many of us have done, or people that do that have road rage, a simple one, not even like, whoa, but like a simple thing, led to the death of 1 and an injury of 4 others, and it was so quick, and it was right after the road rager just pulls on the highway and something happens, and then does something that someone dies because of his actions or her actions. We'll tell you about that coming up next, and I want to talk to you about that. You know, for example, what if you're the road rage guy? You killed somebody. Was it worth it? Get your rage out. Hey, you won! We'll talk about that coming up next. Chris Crock Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3, 800-288 WBAP is our number. News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset. 800-288 WBAP is our number. That's 800-288-9227. Before we get into this road rage case, I was just talking about the Iranian, how close Iran is to having a nuclear weapon. And this is such a perfect time to strike them because they have no air defenses. Almost no air defenses whatsoever. Almost all of their proxies are either neutered, at least for now, or for as far as Bashar al-Assad in Syria, he's gone. So this is the time to strike if you're going to strike. They do have enough nuclear fissile material to make 4 nuclear warheads, but they don't have a delivery system yet. They can do that in 6 months, perhaps as much as a year, but 6 months, I think, is a much safer bet. Do we wait till they literally on the precipice of exactly having it and then do attack? That's foolishness. Because all they got to do is pull a fast one on you and get a few weeks ahead of where you think they're going, and they got it, and you're screwed. Once they have it, you're screwed. Radical Islamic terrorists, the largest... When Iran's called the largest state sponsor of terror, I confess I did not fully understand really what that meant. But it means every single area around Israel is under attack, from the north in Lebanon, from the west in Gaza, and from the northeast out of Syria, Bashar al-Assad. They have bases and they have storage facilities, and they move a lot of drugs, tremendous amount of drugs, to raise money to kill more Jews. They traffic that in through Syria as well. Now, this guy's in charge of this new Syria that they've just taken over. That guy's an Islamist who was aligned with Al-Qaeda and ISIS prior to this. I don't trust him at all, but Bashar al-Assad's gone. Iran does not have a connection with them as right now, as far as we understand. In Iraq, as you know, that's where Qasem Soleimani was, the head of the IRCG, the Revolutionary Guard Corps, who was killed by Trump and put his huevos on the table and knocked that guy off, and it was the best thing he ever did as far as a surprise attack. This will be the next one. He knows it. I hope he does in the first week or two of his administration, and I'm not kidding you. Not out of bravado, not because we can, not because he's going to be all badass, but because it is the right thing to do. This must never happen, and the world knows it and agrees with it unless you're a radical Islamist. All right. Cynthia in Fort Worth, you wanted to chime in on this. By the way, our number is 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Should we strike Iran's nuclear sites before they get a bomb? Should we wait until they have it, almost have it? And how would you like us to do it? I want us to do it with Israel together and let them lead. Cynthia in Fort Worth here on WBAP. Hello, Cynthia. Go ahead.
Hello, I'm sorry. I was just talking. I think we should go in there and blow Iraq with as many bombs as we got. That will blow them off the map.
You mean Iran?
Iran, I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
My bad.
Now, yeah. but you do understand that about 80 or 90% of the people there actually like us and don't have a problem with Israel and the Jews. It's the administration of radical Islamists. You know, maybe it's 10% of the country.
But how are you going to measure out which ones to attack?
Well, there's about 4 facilities. You render them useless.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we need to go in and do whatever we need to do to end this war. You know, these people have suffered way more than any person should ever suffer.
Well, there's no war going on with Iran right now other than arming their proxies to kill people. But this would be not ending a war, but it would be destroying their ability to have a nuclear weapon.
Right. Well, yeah, that'll give us at least give them a fighting chance if there wasn't a bomb shooting at them.
I'm sorry, give who a fighting chance?
I'm sorry. I'm all excited. Oh man, don't make me look like a blonde on here.
Well, I mean, really, this is just this is ending the largest sponsor of terrorism in the world, ending their ability to have a nuclear weapon.
Exactly, and I think we should go for it and not wait on them.
I do too. I appreciate your call. The key here is real simple. It is you could not make up a better scenario than the situation we're in right now. Then this is the time to take out the nuclear program, not because we want to make a big splash, not because Trump's taking over power and we're going to do something big, but because literally it is a perfect timing as far as they're rendered so they've been so belittled and so weakened in their country and in that part of the world that they're so weak, and they're also very close to having this ability. This is the time. It is amazing. And it's like Trump's been given their head on a platter and served up. Would you like to order it or not, sir? And the answer needs to be yes. So I do hope that happens. It'll probably be something we're not expecting in a month or 2 or 3 or 4, maybe 6 months. I don't know, but I think it'll just happen. Like with Qasem Soleimani, we knew nothing, and then all of a sudden it was a huge story. All right, now here we go. Imagine this. You are here in the Metroplex. You get in your car, you're driving, and you come up, you get on the highway, and as you do, somehow you apparently may have cut the guy off or something as you enter the highway, you may have cut the guy off a little bit in front of him. That guy gets mad at you. He drives around you and then brake checks you. Okay? Brake check means they get in front of you and they slam the brakes on to mess with you. You almost slam into them, right? He brake checks you. Now, let me flip it. You're the guy on the highway. You're driving and some idiot comes up on you and cuts you off. Maybe he meant to cut you off. Maybe he's an idiot. Maybe this or that. How do you handle that? This guy drove around him, went in front of him, and brake checked him, slammed on his brake. And guess what he saw in his rearview mirror after that? Did he teach that guy a lesson? You bet he did. That guy swerved off the road so that he wouldn't crash into his car. And the car rolled over several times. 4 people were thrown out of that car. I'm sorry, 5 people were thrown out of that car. 1 died. The guy that did the road rage on him got out of his car, looked, got back into his car, and drove away. So was it worth it? Was it worth you getting in front of the guy that's cut you off as he entered the highway and brake checking him? You killed him. You taught him a lesson. I mean, you really taught him a lesson. What's really cool, he'll never be able to do that to anybody else again. You won! You did it! You did it! You brake checked him. You won! You won, man. It's the ultimate road rage. Was it worth it? That's the kind of the thing I want to ponder with you here. So all because, and it was such a short, simple set of road rage, wasn't it? I mean, it was so simple. You were supposed to brake check him. He was supposed to freak out and get mad and be afraid, and you're going to wander away on the highway and kind of laugh at yourself. I taught that guy. But instead, you killed him. So my question for you on this is, is it worth it? If you killed somebody over it, was it worth it? That's my question for the guy, I suppose, is you killed somebody, was it worth it? And I want to ask you, what kind of a punishment do you want for the guy that was road raging in this case that killed him? What kind of a punishment do you want for him? And what kind of road rage have you experienced as you're driving out there, and how did you handle it? How do you handle road rage? And what advice would you give to somebody who has road rage issues? For example, about why they better get their act together. I'm going to tell you some examples. Robert from Fort Worth also wants to chime in about Iran. I'll be happy to take those calls too. 800-288-WBAP is our number. It's Chris Crock on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset. Okay, so picture this. It's 9 a.m. on a Thursday. Basically, it's any regular day, work day. You're heading to work. Most likely that's what this person was doing, this person that is accused of road raging. All right, so it's 9 a.m. You are dressed in upper middle class casual clothing, according to witnesses. You are in your car. You're driving along on I-20. A Honda CRV comes up to what he calls he's coming up on the on-ramp to join the traffic. You're driving, and some guy pulls up in a CRV on the highway on I-20 and gets right in front of you and kind of cuts you off. Maybe they're incompetent. Maybe they're one of those idiots that thinks, and I mean that, you're an idiot if you think we're supposed to get over for you. When you're merging onto the highway with us, you adjust to our speed. We don't adjust to you. This isn't a dance where you go fast, I go fast, you go slow, you go, oh, yeah. You are joining us. You speed up or slow down. That's your problem, not ours. We don't adjust for you. You can carry that mindset to an extreme and freak out. So you're driving on I-20, somebody comes up on the highway and joins the highway and cuts you off because they're incompetent, an idiot. Maybe it's intentional, who knows. You get mad. You drive around that CRV and then you brake check them. Slam on your brakes. or at least push the brakes hard enough to cause them to go, holy crap, I'm about to slam into that car, and they avoid your car and fly off the road. They flip several times. 4 are injured. 1 is dead. You killed somebody. All you were doing was most likely at 9 a.m. in your casual upper middle class clothing, as the witnesses described. You're on your way to work, I presume. Somebody cuts you off. You got to teach them a lesson. Arrgh. You brake check them. They die. Was it worth it? I mean, you won. You got the ultimate win, dude. You got the big W. That guy will never cut somebody off again. He's dead. Imagine you being that guy that did that. Killed somebody. Would it be worth it? Would you say it was worth it? You know, it's easy to talk about this with hindsight, but dude, this could be any one of us. I really don't have, truthfully, we are the worst judges of ourselves, aren't we? But I truthfully overall don't really have road rage problem for the most part. I really don't. I get so mad, as you would imagine. I'm Mr. Emotional, but I've developed a little thing in my head that just says, you're not going to win, and you don't know who that person is. And just because I carry a weapon on me, a firearm, concealed carry, doesn't mean I'm any safer or have any right to anything like that. The thing is, you don't want to get involved with people. You don't know who they are. You don't know what they're going to do. It's not worth it. It's not worth dying or getting a bullet in your head. There is a guy who had a real road rage problem, and his wife, this beautiful young lady, I think she's European or something. This happened here in the Metroplex. And so he married the girl of his dreams. I think they had 1 or 2 little kids, and they're driving along, young couple. And she had warned him repeatedly, don't road rage anymore. It's not worth it. You can get hurt, this or that. So they're in the car. I can't remember exactly where this was, but it wasn't too long ago. It was in the past year or so. And somebody peed the guy off, and he flipped him off. Something of that nature. I think he flipped him off. Anyways, they shot. He heard some kind of a noise. He looked at his wife. He said, call 911. I think they shot at us. He didn't realize his wife's head was cocked over because she got shot in the head with a bullet. She died. The wife that warned him about road raging and that to stop doing this, you have kids, you're married now. I think they were in their minivan, young couple, and he got his wife killed because he wouldn't just listen to what she said. That happened here too. And so there you go. I want to know, what kind of punishment do you want for this road rager? A guy who is driving down I-20, somebody cuts him off by accident, who is getting on the highway. He freaks out, drives around, brake checks him, kills him. So 1 killed, 4 injured. 2 of them were thrown out of the vehicle. Obviously, they weren't wearing the seatbelts. But what kind of punishment do you want for the road rager in this case? By the way, I forgot to really, really hammer home on this. So he got out of his car. They say he's in his late 40s, early 50s, around 220 pounds, around 6 feet tall, and he was driving a gray Jeep. Light gray Jeep Wrangler. Big deal there, because that's a Jeep what? He was driving a light gray Jeep Wrangler. All right? And so he got out of his car and looked and then got back in his car and drove away. He's a winner, isn't he? He killed the guy. He won the ultimate road rage case. So what kind of punishment do you want for the road rager in this case? And what kind of road rage have you experienced? How did you handle it? And what advice would you give somebody who has had road rage issues about maybe why they'd better get their act together? 800-288-WBAP is our number. That's 800-288-9227. Lines wide open. Got several minutes to pop you on right now, so chime in right now. What kind of punishment do you want for this road rager in this case who killed somebody and then drove away? And what kind of road rage have you experienced? How do you handle it? And what advice would you give somebody who has road rage issues? So, some people just aren't going to learn until something really, really bad happens. But, what I would do is tell somebody, look, this guy got his wife killed sitting in the car with her, the story I just told you, and this guy just brake checked him and killed somebody. You want to be that guy? You want to be that winner? Go ahead. I tell my wife, too, because she has more of a road rage issue than I do. And I'm like, don't. And she still does. I'm like, what? You literally, and I don't mean to beat up on her because I'm way worse than her in many other ways. Trust me on that. But you don't know who that person is in that car, and you don't want to know them, and you don't want to know why they're miserable today, or you might not want to find out that that person has some nice aggravated assault with a deadly weapon charge on him, or maybe has a murder charge on him from before. You just don't want to know. It's not worth it. And there's other stories where I've heard that we've talked about on this show where a man's dead because he was getting in a road rage tussle with somebody, and now the mom and the kids don't have a dad. And you say again, was it worth it? It's just not worth it. That's what I say. How about you? 800-288-WBAP is our number. What kind of road rage have you experienced, and how did you handle it? So when I'm on the highway, I totally ignore them. I don't even look at them. I don't wave, "Oh, I'm sorry," because they'll think you're flipping them off or something. I do nothing. I don't engage. Now, if you're pulling off the highway and you think they're following you on there, usually your instinct is right. If it's on a non-highway, but it's in a 30, 40 mile an hour zone or something like that, and you're coming up on a stoplight or a stop sign, I'm going to tell you how I would handle that, too, what my little plan is, too. All that's coming up next. 800-288-WBAP is our number. That's 800-288-9227. And then, another sad story here. I always tell you, don't pull over on the highway. Do not ever pull over on the highway, ever, even if you got a flat tire. Don't do it. Another story that keep happening. This is exactly why I've been telling you for years. Tell everybody you know and love, do not pull over on the side of a highway. The ultimate horror story is next on that in the Metroplex. It just happened on the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. That story did just got me. Think of it being you. You decide to brake check somebody because they cut you off or something, and you're on your way to work, and you brake check them. You push the brakes hard to freak them out and get them mad, and they wipe off the side of the road and they die. That just happened. Don't be that guy. How's that? Is that fair? Mm-hmm. If you do, if you're that guy, be prepared to be punished severely. And that's what I think needs to happen to this person, especially because he got out of his car, looked, and then got in his car and drove away. So, yeah. And it's just to go to work or just to go to something with your friend's house or go to do something with somebody, and then now you killed somebody because you got mad and couldn't handle the fact that somebody cut you off by accident or on purpose. Who knows? Who cares? 800-288-WBAP is our number. That's 800-288-9227. Well, I am grateful that I think he probably still is there, as far as I know, the spokesperson for Texas DPS Trooper Lonnie Haschel. I had him on my show 12 years ago, maybe 13 years ago. I don't know. And he told me that the most important thing I think he's ever told me was, don't ever pull over on the side of a road to fix your tire, or if your car's breaking down, don't ever do it on the side of the highway because you can get killed, and that happens a lot. Ever since he told me that, I cannot believe how many times people die for pulling off on the side of the highway. There's another case that just happened. Coffin County brothers killed by alleged drunken driver while fixing flat tire. 2 Kaufman brothers were among those killed by an alleged drunken driver. They were trying to help somebody out on New Year's Day. 18-year-old and 15-year-old brothers helping a friend and his family fix a flat tire when they were hit. It was shortly after midnight over the weekend when they got out to help their friends. They pulled over their SUV on the side of the interstate because of a flat tire. Shortly after these 2 brothers, 15 and 18, arrived to help them change the tire, a truck drove off the shoulder of I-20 into a ditch, striking them and the SUV they were working on. All 4 people, listen to this, I repeat, are you ready for this? All 4 people outside of the car were killed. 4 people were murdered, killed on the side of a road for helping change a tire. Are you hearing this? 4 people. So 2 people got out of the car that were in the car, and then 2 brothers, 15, 18, showed up on the scene to help them, and all 4 of them are dead because of a flat tire. A 35-year-old, these drunkards, these texters will find you, and they will kill you on the side of the road. I'm not kidding. Not intentionally. They will, though. This is how it works. 35-year-old Basilio Mares Ortiz faces 4 counts of intoxication manslaughter. When we forgive, it is a relief for us, says the boy's aunt, but the family also wants him to be held accountable. For this to happen, it just came out of nowhere. We have to bring in awareness. Yes, don't drink or drive. No. I'm not trying to be mean to you, ma'am. Don't get out of the side of your car. Don't stop on the side of the highway. Listen, I told you months after Lonnie Hansel told me that I got the flat tire, and I was the one going, now I'm the idiot driving on the highway going with a flat tire. And I did what he told me to, risking my rim being destroyed. I drove a mile or 2. I pulled off on that side of the road. I fixed it. And guess what? The rim was fine. I couldn't believe it. Even if it wasn't, I didn't die. Woo! I'm still alive today. Woo! I'm not mocking or picking on the people that are dead. I'm just saying this is not hard. If your car breaks down to the point where you can't drive it, then get out of the car, go over the median where no car can hit you because you got a 3-foot median or whatever, and then go somewhere, call, and get your towing and all that, but get the hell out of that car and get off the road. Jim in Stephenville, you are on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. Hello. We're talking about road rage, too. Go ahead, sir. Yeah.
Yes, about 10 years ago, I was living in Southern California, and I worked a swing shift. So I was on the way home, 10, 11 o'clock at night on the freeway. And I'm cruising along, and this guy comes up behind me like 6 inches from my back bumper. And I'm doing the limit. I'm not like creeping along.
Right.
And I'm thinking, okay, you want to play games? I'll just slow down to this minimum speed limit. You can go around me.
Right.
Well, instead of that, he hit me.
Wow.
And a few seconds later, he hit me again. So I'm on the phone with the highway patrol operator, and he just every few seconds keeps hitting me.
Wow.
And she's saying she can hear the impacts over the phone.
Right.
So this is kind of between the jurisdiction of 2 highway patrol officers. So they're sending cars. They're notifying the local police. And she tells me, get off at the next off-ramp and get away from me. So I start off at the off-ramp, and he starts to follow me. So I jerk back on, and at the next one, I jerked back at the last second. It's a sharp off-ramp, and I looked in the rearview mirror and saw him going through the ice plant. And the local police had officers stationed at the off-ramps, to try to intercept us.
Good.
So I called. She told me to pull off the next off-ramp, and they'd come and get me.
Wow.
So they came back and got me, and when he couldn't do anything in the ice plant, he took off running, so they turned the canine use on him.
Yes!
So they charged him with several counts of assault with a deadly weapon and hit and run, among other things. And
what was his story? Did you ever find out what his story was? Was he a madman? Was he an illegal? Was he drunk?
No, he was driving a nice car. He was in his middle 20s, dressed nice. Just your average-looking person. You wouldn't have thought that
who couldn't control himself, I guess, right?
Yeah, and they he pled guilty to it because he had a whole group of cops as witnesses.
He's got some nice fat felonies on his record now.
Oh yeah,
I'll bet you he thinks he still won that one. He got you.
Yeah, and I drove home, and he got a ride home with the police.
There you. You know what? He got a free ride home, and you didn't.
Yeah.
Great story. Don't mess with people on the road. I guess that explains it real simply, right, Jim?
Well, I drive for a living, and whenever something happens, I just ignore them.
There you go. That's what I do too.
I drive a semi. So I've had people do all kinds of stuff that doesn't. I mean, I don't understand.
No. And you know what? You're not going to be able to figure them out either, and you don't care about them. You don't want to. Leave me alone, and I'll leave you alone. But the point is, there's a lot of bad freaks out there. We don't know what their problems are or what they are. We don't want to know. Thanks for your great call, Jim. I appreciate you.